morning. So, I'm going to share with you my experiences with extraterrestrials. This is an experience I had on March 30th last year, 2024. It kind of reminded me after I watched the video on Jesse Michaels of Kirsan, the Russian Buddhist president, not Buddhist president, but he was the president of a Buddhist area there in Russia. And if you go listen to the story, you kind of hear how it starts off, how he was laying in bed, and then elaborates from there his experience with the extraterrestrials. Mine isn't exactly identical, but as far as my experience this day on March 30th, 2024, last year, a lot of my experience had been when I was recovering from my car accident. And one evening I was having really bad migraines. I was going through a couple years of just intense pain and migraines that would last hours, and the residual pain from it would last days. So I, one evening, ended up felt most comfortable just sleeping on my couch. It was a big couch, and I would put an ice pack on the back of my neck, and this night I was just in a lot of pain, and I just laid down. I closed my eyes, and all I remember was, to get straight into the experience, is I found myself, I was me, looking out my eyes. This was not a dream, not an imagination of any kind, but I ended up being in a forest, and it seemed like it was in the early morning time because it was heavily wooded with the trees, lots of pine trees, very tall. And the way that the sun was glowing was a very light yellow with mainly white, and it was just extremely bright, but enough to be peeking through the trees where I was capable of seeing absolutely everything around me. And I was in a center area where it was mainly grass, just so trees were surrounding the spot. And I ended up being with a blue man, or a blue being, is what a lot of people here have referred to them as. And the first thing I saw was to describe him, he definitely was over 7 feet tall. Seemed less than 8 feet tall. He was mostly transparent, a silhouette of a man. There were no features though, but it looked like a silhouette of a human being. I was only able to see the lower chest, waist up, but he was definitely much taller than me because of some of the movements he made. When I looked at him straight on, when he leaned down, the body was, it's almost like if you could say it was like a plasma, and it was like a baby blue. Some parts were more of a kind of deeper blue, but it wasn't so dark because it was transparent. And if you're not familiar, there's something called light codes. You can look into that separately. But inside the body was movements of different white lights, dots, lines, and light codes, writing, moving within the body. And so I was standing there, and this being just points out over to the end of like the grassy area we're at, shows me this baby blue, neon baby blue. It was such an unusual color blue. It was beautiful. It looked as though what I was looking at and that he was pointing at, or she, it came to me as masculine, so that's what I'm going to refer to as a masculine being, was pointing at this thing that I could see very clearly. It's almost as if you were to see a galaxy like shown on NASA and those photos, but forget the black background. I was in a forested area. I could see the trees, the ground, everything clearly. And this thing was just floating as if it was moving in a circular pattern. And also, it was that beautiful baby blue, transparent kind of color. And from the inside, almost like you could see in a regular picture of a galaxy of stars, it looked like it was pure, like, whiter colored light coming from it and moving with this. And it looked very gaseous. That's the best way I can explain. It looked like a gas. And it wasn't paper flat like in the pictures that you would see of a galaxy, but it had some dimension to it a bit there. But it wasn't too crazy. It's if you paid attention close, you could see it wasn't completely flat. And so when I pointed at it, I knew without being physically told, it's almost like a message came to me that I had to be in this, and it would be surrounding me, and it would protect me and heal me. That's what I felt. So as soon as I got that feeling, it's almost like it's not even my thought. It's like consciousness of my thought transformed what I was thinking into like a conversation of a question to the being. It's like the communication, the way of interpreting communication isn't I ask you a question, you give me an answer. It was my thought formed as though I was speaking to multiples, and I could receive a clear understanding response. And when I asked, why do I need to be in this? Because I already put out there that I needed, that this was for me to heal and protect me, but I didn't understand why. And so all that got translated, I guess, telepathically to the blue being. And the emotional part for me was this part where the blue being was standing to the right of me. And all it did, because it was so tall, it leaned over and looked at my face. That's where I was able to really see all the symbols and the light and the energy moving inside of the being. It almost like you can sense that being was so peaceful, extremely like gentleness. As large as it was moving so gently. It's something that you cannot confuse. Like in our world, we confuse somebody can be nice, but they come off aggressive, and it's not really their nature is nice. And it's just with this being, there is no confusion. It completely embodied the frequency and energy that it was, and that it was projecting. Like it was to its truest nature is the only way I can say it right now. It was so peaceful and loving. When it looked down at me, it almost was like, I got that we're gonna show you why. We'll make it very brief. It's gonna be painful, and I'm sorry, but for you to understand, it showed me. And the look when it looked at me was like, why don't you understand? Why do we have to show you? Like, why are you asking? And which is okay. It understood that I needed a little more explaining to perceive what was going on. And so what it did is it showed me that galaxy looking gaseous healing protective energy spiral was removed from me. And in a split second, it showed me these black, almost like blobs, like ink blobs. They were pure pitch black, but the light was able to reflect off of it, so it allowed me to see that it was moving. And there was, I don't even know how many there were. There were just so many. I crouched down like this because they were attacking me, and I felt panic. It's almost like your lungs, your heart, and your brain feel the instant panic of, I can't get this to stop. I feel helpless. And that past year, going through recovery from my accident, and I was experiencing some other very traumatic things. And so it showed me that I was energetically, something was attacking me. I still don't know 100% what the meaning of that is. I'm sure eventually somebody is going to say they had the experience, or maybe they were able to figure out what those black blobs were of energy that are, I don't know, lower vibrational, or will attack you. I don't know. Somebody will eventually come up with that, because I couldn't. I mean, I understood what it was doing. It was the blue being explained that to me. And so it was like a split of a second that I experienced all those emotions, and the visualization and the feeling. And it brought back and said, this is why we have to put this around you, to protect you and to heal you. So, because the injury I had was with my spine, it affected my brain. So, after that, I just looked at the blue being, and we had a connection. I don't know how to explain it, but I was thankful for it. That when I woke up, it was in the morning, all the blinds were closed. Again, I was in my living room on my couch. I instantly woke up, and I was very emotional because I knew the experience was real. It wasn't a dream. And if you go check out a video, maybe I'll go ahead and upload that video for you of Bashar. Daryl Anka channels somebody by the name of Bashar. And he has a video that will explain to you about these blue men, how they visit us on Earth. They don't visit everybody. They, I guess they're beings from another planet. And their civilization lives on 3 different planets, and they're looking for a 4th planet to go to. And they are solid beings, but there have been a group of them, some of them, that are figuring out how to transform themselves into an energy like this. And those are the researchers, scientists, and explorers that were able to do this and to go to visiting other planets. And if you look at Joe Dispenza, I uploaded a video of his after my experience, because I knew after researching that what he was stating they were is what my experience was, so it validated it. I don't take anything to the service unless I'm able to do some research and find something to validate what I experienced. Okay, it's real. Other people, have that experience. And Bashar talks about them and how they are peaceful beings and they are healers. And he goes into depth about people who have been at war, how they can resurrect beings who were at war, who fatally passed in such a traumatic experience like that, and how the ones that have been fatal experiences that they were able to resurrect, they've taken them to somewhere peaceful. I believe that. I don't know, but when I heard that, I'm like, okay, it's to me, it's to heal a soul's experience. So I just want you to be able to learn more as I'm learning too. And when I had woken up that morning, the blinds were closed. There was no light coming in at all. And all I could see in front of me, which I did capture a video of, you can barely see it, but there was, I'd say, nearly 20 to 40 orbs of light. And it was like just floating, hovering over me in one certain area, and just kind of going outward. And I just stood at it. I stood looking at it, and that was the validation, like, we are here. And it was a good amount of time that I was looking at it, probably at least 5 to 8 seconds. Then I'm like, wait, you know what? I have to tell my family this experience. And they're not gonna believe me. I need to get a video because I had been experiencing a lot of other things. So I said, let me get a video of this. So they let me get a video and catch one of the orbs, but I was thankful for at least one. So I got that video, and you can see it shooting down in front of me, and they all were dissipating. So I just figured I'd share that experience with you. They do visit us. They don't visit everybody. They do come here to observe, and what they want is peace and healing. So they'll help people heal, and they want us to bring peace to the earth. So that's all I can share at this time.